mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war. If your eyes drop, they will get the top of you. Boom, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Try to think of something different. Oh, my God, keep me from going lunatic. Boom, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war.
What's going on, YouTube? We back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Knobs YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we back with another movie review. And one of my most anticipated movies this year. I know I've been saying that a lot. You know, I had Sinners, Final Destination, Bloodlines, what I was looking forward to. A lot of horror I was looking forward to. But this is definitely one of the ones I've been looking forward to as far as legacy sequels. Part of, I guess you could say, zombie franchise, because supposedly, you know, as far as the zombies in the 28 Days Later franchise, they're supposed to be infected, not zombies. And they still kind of elaborate on that in this newer movie. But yes, man, we are back, and not only are we back, the original director and the original writer of the 28 Days Later movie, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, are back too. So that's another reason I was kind of excited for this, and it was another reason I was like, something is definitely going to be very interesting with this, because I feel like these two individuals would not be coming back just to give us an ordinary zombie movie. It just wouldn't happen. So I definitely know people going to have a lot to talk about when it comes to that ending, and we're going to get to it. But going into this, we have a very, very interesting opening scene, and it looks like the early days of the whole infected apocalypse, zombie, everything that you can call it. And it looks like this was kind of the start of what Jim was sleeping through, you know, in 28 Days Later when everything first started. And we get introduced to this kid named Jim, who's with these other kids, but ends up running out after mayhem ensues as far as the infected just overrunning his home. And we never get to see him again outside of that opening scene. We don't see him get attacked or infected, but we do see him in a very, very chaotic situation dealing with his father and dealing with the infected. Moving forward, though, we get pretty much info on what's been going on between, you could say, 28 weeks later and now. Pretty much the UK has been isolated from the rest of the world. They just shut off. No, nothing. Like, fend for yourself, and that's it. UK only, that's it. So we do have this group of people who have somehow managed to have their own states, have their own town, and we get this father and son going by the name of Jamie and Spike, played by, of course, Alan Taylor-Joy, Craven, Kick-Ass, you know, the other movies. But this newcomer, I forgot the young man's name, but it's a newcomer, if I'm not mistaken, it's his first film, and he's playing Spike. And I feel like we getting some type of like just something that's coming with these kids coming in with these horror movies. We know you have my boy playing Preacher Boy in Sinners coming in and pretty much stealing the show, and this kid here coming in who's playing Spike, definitely somebody you got to be on the watch for. But Jamie and Spike, father and son, pretty much have some ritual that the town pretty much has, and you almost can say the town is kind of cult-like. I mean, give or take, they've been isolated from everybody else for these past, I guess, say 20 plus years. So now we have the father and son going on this type of ritual where they just go hunt the infected on the mainlands, which they have, which is across from a tide. Yes, across from a tide, ocean tide that comes in and out. So they go over there to hunt on the mainland. For not only the sport, but I guess to get in like some gladiator type mode to get them more prepared for situations like that or whatever. So going into this, even going off the trailer, that's what I'm thinking that was going to be the majority of the movie, is them getting pretty much stranded over there and having to try to survive to get back to their home, which definitely is not what we getting. It's so much more that's going on with this movie, man. And I don't know why I was surprised, because 28 Days Later did a good job of that as far as flipping it. You know, when you had Jim, Selena, and the little girl, and even her father thing, we had this main group cast, and then the father gets infected as far as the first film, 28 Days Later, and then they come across this military group, whoever, then end up finding out that the infected ain't the people you need to be worried about. You need to be worried about these military men. Come on, y'all. But just a good flip as far as giving us the horror, drama, then kind of taking us into like this thriller action movie as far as the first 28 Days Later. So when we going into this, it's definitely some flips because we start off with, I would say, a traditional and basic horror film, and it's some really good moments because not only are we reintroduced back to this world as far as 28 Days Later with Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, but we are getting new things as far as not only the people of this world, but the infected. We have evolved infected. We have ones that's kind of slow, like your original zombies that crawl. We have, if the original infected, what I would say was the fast running infected, whatever. Then we have pretty much probably the scariest of the infected is the alphas. Super smart, super strong, and huge, and hard as fuck to kill. And when I tell you, I'm telling you this right now, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I absolutely believe that not only does this movie have some of the best suspenseful chase sequence, it has one in particular. One chase scene in here that I felt like that I hadn't had a moment like that in a horror movie in a very long time, where I'm like, I'm not sure if they're going to make it or if one of them not going to make it. Either way, the way they set this chase scene up and how intense it was, and the fact that this big ass motherfucker was running away, he was running, man. Very, very good scene. The only bad part about it is it's no scene to me like that after that. And I feel like this is kind of that moment where we're getting ready to flip the dynamics of the movie in that particular scene, if you know what I'm talking about, which I feel like everybody should know what I'm talking about as far as that chase scene with the tide and them in the town, you know. But they do, for my opinion, a very good job of not giving us any expectations, is my opinion. I feel like we got things that we was not expecting, especially me, as far as the way the film starts to set up and the way we start to get into, you would say, main characters. Because once again, you thinking, I feel like we was getting this father and son dynamic, and we've had that, you know, Logan, Last of Us, we got all of that. We've seen a lot of those, which I don't mind. Like I said, if it's done good, I'm good with it. But the way they're to take the angle of this movie where they put Spike, really the son, in the main position and give him all of these dynamics that he has to deal with certain things with his father. It's things he's dealing with his mother. She's very sick, and just the way he has this certain resilience, because he pissed me off a little. I ain't gonna front. Like when he first got into like this rebellious mode, and it's not really a rebellious mode, it's him reacting to certain things that he finds out. It's like, man, you chill the fuck out. There's so much shit going on. You getting that mad about this? Like your pops, man, he done been through a lot of shit. Like, come on, man. But at the same time, I think the film is trying to tell you something else too, because of the way the film even sets up the whole dynamics with the father and son and this whole ritual of the things they do. And watching the son's transformation as far as Spike and his acting ability, I think that really got me, not backdrawn back into, but not me being pissed off at him again and just going with what he was doing and his commitment to his mother. So I was with it. Not only that, I feel like, I don't know if anybody feel like it started to get slow. Me personally, it didn't, because I was so indulged in the story. And once we get this second half of the story on the mainland, and we get the dynamics between Mike and his mother, and even them coming across the doctor played by Ralph Fiennes, very good moments. And even them coming across this soldier that I thought, because the issues I had with the movie, because I can't just sit here and praise it like it was all that. It's some editing issues. I feel like there's certain moments in here where I'm like, why the fuck you keep going back to these old footage of the army, which I think he was pretty much trying to align with what they was doing with training the kids and all of that. Okay, I get it, cool. The first two times, cool, but you keep going back to that. I didn't have no issue with the setup with him doing like the flash forward or flashback scenes of the zombies and them doing certain things, especially the alpha in certain moments that he was doing certain things in the like red vision, cool. But it is kind of like, I ain't gonna say distracting, but it's like moments where you might get kind of confused with the movie, because when this certain scene come up with these soldiers, I'm like, is this past tense or are they here now? And yeah, it got me confused in a little bit, but once we get like this meetup between Spike and one of the soldiers, and it's like, okay, this is modern time, cool. And it's a very good parallel between these two. Once again, a good moment with, I feel like, another chase sequence, but not just as good as the one in the with Spike and his dad, but still it's another good sequence that comes up. But once again, I feel like it's another switch with the movie where we get the interaction between Spike and the doctor and his mother, and it almost turns into like this art drama where we kind of like push back a little bit on the infected and get into the dynamics of death and what this doctor's been doing out here all this time, and just certain things that Spike starts to figure out not only about himself, but what he sees the world as now and what he's willing to go through and deal with. So I enjoy those moments because it's character development for me. And once we get back and kind of to the like the infected parts of the film, to me it still stayed kind of up par to what it did. Never got back to the moments I feel like though between the moments of, I would say, the father and son dynamic, especially when they on the mainland together. I feel like there's a lot of good tense, suspenseful moments with just those two. But even when the moments with Spike and his mother, I feel like those are good moments too. It's a very good tense, suspenseful moment with Spike and his mother dealing with one of the slow zombies, if you know what I'm talking about. Very good moment. But in spite of all of that, what we lead up to is the thing I think everybody's going to be talking about. With everything that's going on to the movie, I mean, up until the very last moment where we getting dramatic music, we getting this dramatic moment where Spike ends up making a certain decision where it's like, oh, whoa, that's what he about to do. Okay. But then we go to the end and you got this crazy ass, like, sequence where shit just flips and it almost get into like a comedic level where we get, I would say, the return of the kid that we seen in the beginning, who's now a fully fledged grown man who has grew up in this world, but it's the shit that he has going on with this group of people he's with that's like on some ninja type, even I would say Power Ranger type shit. Like, it's a crazy sequence that just like the movie just like, whoa, like, I'm like, where the fuck are we going? But I didn't mind it because I'm kind of getting where I feel like Danny Boyle is going, because this is part of a trilogy. And I know they filmed both movies back to back, and I know Nia DaCosta is doing the next one. And like I said, I'm not sure if this is going to be the whole feel of that next movie or the sequel. But like I said, it's an interesting take and a way to go with a movie, I would say, just not give you any expectations outside of when we get the first trailer for the sequel. Because I would love to see moving forward, especially with what the fuck is up with this crew that Jimmy got going on, and Spike, what is going to be his situation moving forward with the decision he ended up making, and just a lot of other dynamics surrounding this mainland, including still the infected. So, yeah, that ended. It's a wild ending. It is a wild ending, but I didn't have an issue with it. Like I said, once the movie started doing certain things where I didn't feel like I didn't have no more expectations because I kind of didn't know where this was about to lead to, I didn't mind it. A lot of people are definitely probably not going to like that, especially with a franchise like this and the way this movie goes all the way up until that very last scene. But yeah, man, y'all let me know how y'all feeling about 28 years later. I definitely enjoyed this. I feel like it didn't let me down. I feel like the expectations I had, I ain't gonna say they went above those, but they just took me somewhere where I wasn't expecting, and I'm fine with that because I didn't want to know everything. Because even with a movie like Sinners, which I really enjoyed, and I feel like it gave me my expectations that I needed, I kind of could predict certain things with that film. This, no. So y'all let me know if you had a chance to check out 28 Years Later. How did you feel about it? Let me know if y'all plan on checking it out again just to get a better understanding of their ending. If you didn't like the ending, let me know in the comments too. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell, let you know when I upload new videos. Other than that, we out.